YouTube Buzz going the Goat House is back. There's a football game on tonight. It is a real football game. Bills and Rams. I'm so excited that I'm rocking both NFL teams' chains from the GLD shop right now. Only right. Couldn't pick one, and they don't call me two chains for nothing. Absolutely nobody calls me that. Maybe going forward, I don't know. But, yeah, the GLD shop has these sick NFL pendants made from real gold. You got the Rams logo, the Bills helmet. They have helmets and logos. Cool stuff. All kinds of different options. We have a code GOAT for 33% off. We have a link for you to use down in the comments. Makes things very affordable there. Check it out. They're also supplying prizes for our Picks Leagues. There's a link down below pinned in the comments for the Picks Leagues. They're also holding the giveaway with us. Link down below for anything you're looking for. Make sure you follow our Twitter. We'll be talking live during every NFL game, but tonight in the game that's in a few hours for sure. So check us out there. And this video is bold predictions. We do this every single Thursday. You guys send in your bold predictions through Twitter. I make a post. You guys comment. I skim through, see which ones stand out. Usually it's about the week, so next Thursday will be about week 2. This week's not just about week 1, though. Bold predictions for the season as well. That'd be really fun there. So I love this video because it kind of keeps you guys involved. A lot of fun here. So do we just do it? We're going to do it. I have one. I got one to start for the season, not for week 1, for the season, one I'm feeling recently. Javonte Williams rushing title. That means he's going to lead the league in rushing yards. Doesn't mean I'm guaranteeing it. It's kind of bold predictions, but I'm feeling it. You guys know, if you followed us during that draft, last year's draft that Javonte Williams was in, that I was extremely high on Javonte Williams. So, and then Broncos, solid team, better offense now. So that helps. And it sounds like that the blocking scheme changes are really for the better for the pieces they have on an offensive line, from what I've heard out of training camp. So excited about that as well. Helps Javonte Williams. So that's my bold prediction that I'm feeling. See, I usually go to your guys' bold predictions and have something pop up. Is it happening? Is it realistic? Hot or warm? Hot? Piping hot? So do I do it for myself? I mean, for obvious reasons, I think it's realistic. For the obvious reasons being that I'm kind of saying it's my bold prediction here. I think a lot of people would either go warm or hot. You guys comment. How spicy of a take is that? I was thinking about making a spicy one, but spicy hot doesn't really make sense. Piping hot still sounds great as the hottest of the takes. Your guys' takes. The best part here. Roof on Twitter. Roof Orel. Aaron Rodgers back to back MVP. So we're obviously starting with the season bold predictions before we get into some of the week 1. But I like a lot of these season ones. Aaron Rodgers back to back MVP. So I actually tweeted out my award predictions. I think that was last night. Yeah. And spoiler, I picked Josh Allen to win MVP, but I was kind of right there with guys like Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers, of course. Maybe a little Lamar Jackson's strong possibility. If you're the top guys, best odds to make it happen, possibly. And, so I kind of, even though he's not so I would throw up happening here if it was my prediction. It's not my prediction, but I think it's realistic. It's not my prediction, but I think it's realistic here. I think it definitely could happen. And a big reason is no Davante Adams. Like, obviously, Rodgers would rather have Davante Adams. The Packers would rather have Davante Adams, right? But I think it helps Rodgers' MVP case, which isn't his goal, obviously. He wants to win a Super Bowl, but his MVP case without Davante Adams, because I think if you sit there and watch him and he plays if he plays as good, better, or just nearly as good as he did last year without Davante Adams, people are going to look at it and be like, yeah, that's the guy right there, So it's going to be pretty hard for somebody else to win if that's the case. So that's why I think it's realistic as a season bold prediction there. So that's a pretty good one. Another one here is going to be from Kyle Brass. Derek Carr will be in the top 3 for the MVP race by the end of the season. So, yeah, again, when I tweeted out my award predictions, I actually had a dark horse for each one. And I want Derek Carr for the dark horse. It's not like I'm predicting it to happen, but I wanted to find a name that's not being used at all that actually has a possibility, a chance to win, that's somewhat realistic. And I thought Derek Carr, and for multiple reasons. I mean, I like the way Derek Carr clutched up at the end of last year. I talked about it as he was doing it recently. I thought I kind of doubted the Raiders without with the coaching change, how would they be down the stretch? But the Raiders always kind of fold down the stretch. Derek Carr doesn't play as good in the second half of the year, the first half of the year. Last year, I thought it was the opposite. I thought he clutched up, made some real clutch throws, got his team to the playoffs, and I thought it was there was some good players on that team. I thought it was mainly Derek Carr, though, for sure. With the mess of a coach change, got a special teams coach, and nothing against Bisaccia at all. Did a fine job, but that it's a little weird, tough situation. So that would be a reason where I'm like, all right, Derek Carr, all right, you're getting going, and now he has better coaching, better players around him, better pizza, Papa John's. No, I don't know why I just thought of that, but that sounded like where I was going with that. But Derek Carr, yeah, I think with the better talent, I guess the offensive line is maybe the flaw there. I worry a little about the offensive line, but I think he's getting better. I think everything around him's kind of getting better. Like we said, the McDaniels, the players, not really the pizza. That was a joke, but so I think it's somewhat possible. It is definitely bold though. Top 3, but he doesn't have to win it. It's just top 3 in the MVP race. I'm not even gonna go hot. It's a little warm. I'm feeling a little warm right now. I was close to going real. I'm gonna be closer to going realistic than I am going hot. So we're in between the two with that take. So I like it. I like it there. It's kind of a dark horse guy. I see a lot of people, like people on TV, picking Kirk Cousins. I think Derek Carr's kind of in the same range as that prediction, but I feel a little more comfortable with Derek Carr, as more of my dark horse. I feel more comfortable. I think he's a little bit better. I think he had maybe a little bit better of a shot there. So there are people kind of going for that bold type of prediction there with Kirk Cousins, but are they going the wrong one? Should they be going Carr? So, that's a good one right there. Fennec Sports, super follower, appreciate him. Jalen Hurts places top 3 in MVP voting. Eagles make NFC, so that's kind of a two-parter there. But I like this one because there is a lot of hype on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I think the team probably got the most hype is the Bills. It's debatable though, but because people are picking them, a lot of people are picking them to go all the way, right? But I think the two teams getting the most hype, probably the Bills and the Eagles. The Eagles are getting so much hype, and even Hurts, and people are kind of forgetting what happened last year, and it's okay. I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. Hurts can continue to get better. He has better weapons, all that, all that going for him. So, but I think people kind of forget a little bit what happened last year, and they're kind of thinking it's all right. Very optimistic with all positive thoughts, but a lot of hype, because of that. So that's why this was kind of a good one, good talking point, good topic here. Hurts places top 3, so it's kind of the same thing. Derek Carr plays top 3. I think that's pretty damn. And the Eagles make the NFC Championship game. The Eagles can make the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, but we'll say the NFC Championship game. It's kind of a two-parter. I think I'd say warm for the Eagles going to the NFC Championship game. Hurts place. I usually don't pick the two-parter, but this is such an interesting one. I usually want just one kind of bold take. So people for the future there with these videos. Hurts top 3 MVP. I think that's pretty piping. I'm going to throw the piping out there. I just don't think Hurts will be top 3. He can play a lot better than I can see it. Very realistic that he plays a lot better than last year. I think if he plays better, if you want to say he plays better, I think that's happening. If you're saying he plays a lot better, I think that's very realistic. But then we're going an extra mile there with in the MVP conversation. But the Eagles can make the NFC Championship game. Very good roster, very talented there. David, Sam Howell takes over QB1 by week 5. And I was a Sam Howell fan on North Carolina in a weaker class. It's a weaker class. So it's like if you're a big fan and you hyped up a guy from that class, doesn't mean you think he's going to be all world, But I thought he was one of the best. I had Malik Willis 1, Sam Howell 2, actually. And a lot of people had the takes right when he was drafted that he'll take over for Carson Wentz at some point this season. He looked really good in preseason, by the way. Pretty damn good. So that's great. Carson Wentz has had his struggles. And I could definitely, when people saying that, I definitely could see it. I think week 5 is pretty damn early, though. I was about to go piping because that is really early, and I think they'll even insist on Wentz, even if he's struggling to a certain point. But I was gonna go piping for all those reasons because I really don't see it happening. But I'll drop it down to hot because, Wentz has his injuries. I don't want to predict injuries or anything here, and I'm not actually predicting him to get injured, but he's had his injuries in the past, so that kind of bumps it down. So maybe he takes over by default, because of that. Yeah, it's would they put Heineke in, though? I guess that's the question. It's interesting. Maybe this would have been a better one. If I like it, I used it here because I like it's kind of an interesting topic of when will he take over. I think it would have been better if you did like a week 12, some 10, something like that. But definitely an interesting one. Next one from Boiler Up, another super follower. Appreciate you very much, sir. Billy B. Bill Belichick will retire after the Patriots go 5-12. It's pretty specific. They got to go 5-12. Let's not really focus on the specifics there. Let's just say Bill Belichick. That's where I kind of like this one. I don't like when we get too specific with these every week, but I like this one in terms of Bill Belichick retires after the Patriots struggle this year. And I can see the Patriots struggling. I'm not saying they're definitely going to struggle. I could see it. I don't know if I am. I don't think I was going to go piping originally, but I think I'm going to go piping. I don't think both got to happen. It's still a two-parter, even if you put it like that. I don't think Bill retires, basically. But it's interesting, maybe the Patriots are in a little bit of they got a lot of cap next year, though, so it's not that messy. A lot of cap next year. They should be able to turn it around. So I just don't think he's going to walk, really. Jaden Sormani. I believe this is a season one. It's definitely a season one. For a second, I thought it was a week one, but I think it's a little more exciting if we talk about this one as a season here, because there will be weeks that Jalen Waddle outperforms Hill. It's definitely a season one here. Jalen Waddle outperforms Tyreek Hill in the Dolphins' offense due to his connection with Tua. This is a good one. This is a good one right here. Because most people right away, like right when you hear that, you're like, no, that's BS. That's piping hot. Not going to happen. But you're like, wait, think about it a little bit. Waddle was so damn good his rookie year. Tua was good with him. They were just connecting a lot of slants. They were connecting over the middle of the field a lot, and then Waddle kind of sneaky after the catch, and then downfield as well. And Hill can do a lot of the same things, maybe a little bit more downfield. It's a new staff, though, so that's a tough part. That makes it interesting, too. If it was the same offensive staff, I'd feel pretty good about this bold prediction, actually. I would almost feel outperforms. That's such a good one. When I'm stumped, it's a really good one here. If it was the same staff, I'd actually think it's warm, maybe realistic. It's not, though. I still think it's possible, though. I'm still going to go warm. Maybe that's bold of me to go warm there. I was going to go hot, but I'm not going to predict it because Tyreek Hill is insane and Waddle is getting there already. And they both have some elite speed. I could see it, though. Maybe Tua's just, it's not Mahomes. We haven't seen Hill without Mahomes. Maybe he struggles to get him I don't think he's going to struggle in general with Tyreek Hill at all. Like, I would never predict that, but maybe it just struggles to get him the ball like as much as Mahomes did, and Waddle's just easier because, like you said, the connection. That's a really good one there. Interesting to think about. We're going into the week one. Bold takes. About time here. Tyler Andreas, Kyler, and Mahomes both go for 300-plus yards and 3-plus touchdowns to make KC versus Arizona the highest scoring game of the week. I do have it as the highest scoring game of week one. The over-under is like way lower than where I have my total, so am I missing something here? It's kind of weird. Maybe because DeAndre Hopkins is out, but I'm not really sure. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this game. I think the reason it could be a low-scoring game, I just don't see the defense is playing. I guess I could see it. The Chiefs are kind of switched. They brought in some zone guys. They got some more pass rushers, so they could throw the Cardinals off and then, have some better players in there, but better production in a game like this, so they can slow the Cardinals down. And then the Cardinals, again, I keep saying that they were kind of tinkering with the 4-3, different looks than their normal 3-4 during training camp. If they just throw that out there, there's really no game plan for it. So those could be reasons why the offenses are a little slower. I just don't see it. I think these offenses are too fast. We're talking about the speediest offenses in football. You could throw another couple teams in here with these two, but we're talking about the best of the best when it comes to offensive attack, offensive power, offensive speed here, we would think, I think everyone's on board with the Chiefs, but I put the Cardinals in that conversation, especially early in the season when they're tough. It should be a shootout, but I guess his bold takes. I'm going on and on about being a shootout. It's not really his bold take. Both go for 300-plus yards and 3-plus touchdowns. He didn't say passing, so they could be rushing, right? Right. I'm gonna go. What's happening? Maybe that's another one that's kind of, we all got to get bold here a little bit. I think I'm gonna go a little bold. Maybe it's not that bold and go. What's happening? I think people would probably put realistic. Can't wait to watch that. Can't wait to watch all the games. It's week 1 here. Next up, Michael Mertens. Mitch Trubisky will throw for more yards than Joe Burrow. So that is not. It could be a season 1. We're gonna go ahead and say that's not a season, because if it was, we'd be throwing piping, spicy piping, and maybe both mixed together. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying this week, because the Steelers do in fact play the Bengals in Cincinnati. Trubisky versus Joe Burrow, and first thought, you're probably like, damn, that's pretty piping. Even though it's not season, it's week 1. Talking about Trubisky versus Burrow. Trubisky with that offensive line versus an improved offensive line with those crazy receivers. The Steelers got some crazy receivers as well. Joe Burrow, no, that's piping. And then you'd probably think a little bit more. I'm kind of doing this in my head too. And you think, it's one game. Yeah, Trubisky can throw for more yards than Burrow in one game, I suppose. It's week 1, anything can happen. So maybe it's just hot. But think about the game plan here. Think about the matchup. What's going to happen in this game? Steelers usually have a pretty stout defense. Really tough in division rival games, too. Mike Tomlin's always got them prepared. They got a crazy pass rush led by T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, etc. Coming after Joe Burrow. Better offensive line, but you don't want to get Burrow beat up right away. He's already I wouldn't say he's beat up right now, but he was dealing with a little bit of injury during training camp. So you factor that in as well. So you see what I'm getting towards. That the Bengals probably want to run the ball. Offensive line run blocking depth should be better. Want to run the ball. Steelers, again, stout defense, but weren't they nowhere near stout last year? And the only thing that's on film right now, because there hasn't been a real game played, is run defense. So another reason for the Bengals to just go all out run in this game. So therefore, if they're running that much, maybe Trubisky can throw for more yards than Burrow. I guess the flaw in that, I think it's a pretty good take. But the flaw in that is that the Steelers might run the shit out of the ball as well, because they have Najee Harris. They're a little better at run. I'd say a lot better actually at run blocking than pass protection. They got a new quarterback in there, so there could be a lot of running the football in this game. But then, trying to think, what are the Bengals better at? Stopping a run, stopping a pass? I think they're better at stopping a run. They do have some big-time playmakers out there, but I guess going off statistics last year, which isn't everything, not even close for this year. So with all that being said, I do think it is logical to think this because of everything I just explained. So this is a pretty good one from Michael Mertens here. I'm on the borderline of, because I kind of think it's realistic, but I'm just really not counting on it, though. It's like I need like a realistic warm. I think I had this problem the last couple years in this video. I need like a realistic warm. I don't have anything in between there. I'll go warm because I'm predicting that Burrow will have more. But I kind of was convincing myself with the takes I had. The game plan, the matchup. We'll see though. Week 1, weird things happen. Trubisky can look like the MVP. After one game, he kind of did that, not often, but I remember like a Bucs game when he was on the Bears, one of his first years. I think everyone was losing their minds. They thought he was the next Tom Brady. Not really, but so my point is, like, one game early in the year, it could happen. He can look all world there. But curious to see that division rival game. And last one here, and Teep, if I'm saying that right, at least one of the Packers rookie wide receiver goes for 100-plus yards. So there was some people with kind of receiver takes for the Packers. I like this one, though. You kind of give me, just one's got to happen. One of Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson was kind of the higher profile, big name guy, had the athletic traits. second round pick. They traded 2 picks to go up and get him. He gets to play with Aaron Rodgers. And then Romeo Doubs was kind of that sneaky pick later. I mean, also gets to play with Aaron Rodgers. And I love that pick at the time because I think he fits Aaron Rodgers' ball very well. And then Romeo Doubs is the bigger name all of a sudden because he's taken over in training camp. We didn't get to see Watson a whole bunch at all, really. But the Packers are hesitant to. That's crazy to think about. Packers we know this. They're very hesitant to. You may say take a receiver early on, but to just value a receiver like that. I mean, they traded I think they valued Javonte Adams. It was more so he kind of wanted to change the scenery. But, they traded away him before giving him the big deal. But mainly talking the draft, they refused to value receivers, right? But here you trade 2 seconds for 1 second with your division rival on top of it. The Vikings was in that trade to get Watson. So I'd say that they sure valued a wide receiver. They really valued a wide receiver. So my point is they might just go all out with this guy, Christian Watson. They might go all out. And when you go all out with the guy, with Aaron Rodgers throwing that guy, he might be pretty productive. I don't know. Just one of the best quarterbacks of all time, maybe the very best of football right now. He might be pretty good. So that'd be the argument for Christian Watson. The argument for Romeo Doubs is he tore it up in training camp preseason. I really think he fits playing with Aaron Rodgers, downfield, really good tracking the ball downfield, really good in the red zone. I think he racked up the touchdowns. He was doing that in Nevada. Big reason why they were racking up the deep ball production and the touchdowns, and he was doing it preseason as well, especially the red zone. One specific touchdown from preseason was pretty nasty, and then maybe they're more comfortable with him. Rodgers more comfortable because he was in there. I think the first day we started hearing about Doubs is going off in training camp, so that'd be the reason for him. But it's not one versus the other here. One just needs to go for 100 yards, and I think one of them is bound to be pretty productive. 100 yards is a lot, though. 100 yards is a lot. Vikings, you can throw on the Vikings. I don't really know what to expect from the Vikings because it's a 3-4 defense now. They got a good big-time pass rush duo. I don't really know what to expect from them, to be honest, and maybe the Packers don't either, but will that really phase Aaron Rodgers? Probably not. 100 yards for a rookie receiver. I'm trying to think of who has the best shot, even though that's not in here. I'd probably go Doubs, but I can argue both sides. So will Doubs go for 100-plus yards? You could say Watson, actually, because you can get him a screen pass, and he can just take off for a big-time big play, burst through for a 90 yards. Probably not going to happen, but could see that. That's another argument for him because he can fly, and they'll probably give him some of that action there, those types of plays. And that'll do it. If he does one of those, he'll get over 100. I'm going to say I'm kind of in that realistic warm again. I'm kind of in the middle. I need one for the middle. I feel like it's cheating, though. Like I'm making it too easy for myself. In between the realistic and the warm, I'll say realistic. It's Aaron Rodgers. Another thing. Lazard's kind of dealing with some sort of situation, minor injury or something. So that's something to monitor. That kind of helps this case. I just don't know what to expect. Like I said, I don't know what to expect from the Vikings defense. I don't know what to expect for the snap count from the Packers receivers. Who's going to play the most snaps? Who's going to play? If Lazard's full go, then you think him. Have Randall Cobb, a connection with them. Sammy Watkins. I don't know how they're going to divide up those snaps. I'm very, very curious. I'll say realistic. Very easily could have went warm. Most people probably would go warm, but that's a good one too. I liked a lot of these. The ones that I really could go in depth, and I'm thinking on the spot as I'm talking of some of this stuff, like game plan, matchup, how this could happen. I love those ones that make me do that. Just makes the game that much more interesting because I'm really looking forward to these questions being answered, or seeing which side, this or this, seeing what actually happens. So, that's why I like this video here. I like keeping you guys involved. But yeah, we'll play again next Thursday, for week 2. I tweet it out and you guys comment. I don't see every single one. I kind of skim through and just see which ones, that one popped out to me there. So check us out on Twitter. Bunch of useful links pinned in the comments, but, that's going to wrap up this one. Please like, subscribe, turn notifications on because we have full NFL coverage here. Power rankings, straight up picks, score predictions, all that up for week 1. We'll have a recap of Thursday Night Football tomorrow. We'll have a Sunday football recap on Monday. All the action here at the Goat House. Hopefully you join us. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.